Greetings from South Africa. Today we celebrate the World Day of Prayer for the whole of creation. In Genesis 2 verse 15, we read that God created this beautiful blue-green planet. He looked at what he had made and he said, "It is good. It is good. It is very good." And he placed us in this planet to look after it. In Genesis 2 verse 8, we read, "The Lord God planted a garden in the east, in Eden, and there he put the people he had formed. The Lord God made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and trees that were good for food. And in the middle of the garden was the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. A river watering the garden flowed from Eden, and from there it separated into 4 headwaters." What a beautiful garden, with clear, beautiful water flowing out. Now we are used to having to irrigate our gardens, but the Garden of Eden functioned more like a rainforest, so fertile and rich it was that it created its own microclimate, and water flowed out of the garden. And all kinds of trees were there, some just because they were beautiful and pleasing to the eye, and others because they were good for food. Imagine the colors of the flowers of those trees and the berries of those trees. I love that God created trees that change color in the different seasons, because God is an artist who loves beauty and color. And imagine the trees that are good to eat, the mangoes, the papayas, the bananas, the coconuts, every single thing you need. I was in Mozambique a year or so ago, and they talked about how they used to live, when the only thing they had to buy was rice. Otherwise, everything came from their trees and from the sea. They would eat enormous avocado pears, sweet potatoes and vegetables of every kind, and herbs to make their tea and for medications when they were sick. They would use the coconuts to make oil to cook their fish, and they had cashew nuts to sell, with bananas and mangoes and pineapples for food to eat. What a wonderful garden God has placed us in. God placed us here to work the earth and to look after it. We read in Genesis 2:15. Yes, let us work the earth. Use the branches from the trees to make fire to keep us warm, to build our homes. Eat the food, eat the vegetables, eat the fruit, drink the water, but look after it. We have done such a bad job of looking after God's creation. The forests are cut down, the water is polluted. We buy fruit without flavor and nutrition from supermarkets wrapped in plastic. We cannot drink the water and must buy bottles of water. And now the children are hungry, and the floods rush with destruction through the land because the trees have been chopped down. We cut down the mangroves on the coasts that hold back the storm surges, and the fields are now full of salt. Psalm 24 verse 1 tells us that the earth is the Lord's. We are only lent it by God. And yet we treat it as if it was our property, as if we can do anything we like and we will succeed. We are killing the living earth on which we depend for survival. We thought the land was ours to use and abuse, and we have made agriculture into an extractive industry. A teaspoon of soil can contain millions of microorganisms, and God placed them there for a purpose. But we have taken the goodness out of the land and heaped it with artificial fertilizers. The same product, ammonium nitrate, which exploded in Beirut, destroying the city and pouring poisonous gas into the air. That is the product included in artificial fertilizers that we put on the land to make profit. The more crops we extract from the land, the less fertile it becomes, and the more artificial fertilizers we must use. And still our people go hungry. And even those who have enough food, we suffer from cancer and from other diseases because of the pesticides, and the rain washes it off into the rivers, and so the fish die. We need to use methods which begin to heal the land. We are raising our animals for food in conditions of extreme distress. Animals standing in their own filth, pumped full of antibiotics. And we are surprised when viruses jump from species to species. Swine flu, avian flu, SARS and MERS were preparing us for coronavirus. What will come next? For we continue to cram our chickens into artificial factories. Today, we celebrate the World Day of Prayer for Creation. It is the start of the season of creation, when Christians around the globe celebrate together and commit to healing the earth. So how can we celebrate the season of creation? First of all, let us celebrate creation. Wake up and say thank you for the mountains that we see, for the birds that we hear, for the flowers that we smell, for the sunrise that shows God's beauty. We need to slow down from our frantic lifestyles to make time to experience the beauty of creation. We need to develop a simpler lifestyle. Every single thing that we buy has taken resources to create. Do we need to upgrade that cell phone or gadget? Don't throw anything away. Mend it, recycle it, or give it away. Our society tells that a person is great if they drive a bigger car, they fly more often, they eat more meat, and yet it is those things that are killing our world. God calls us to live a simpler lifestyle. In Africa, we have a saying that says, "Umtu ngumtu ngabantu." A person is a person through other people. Your value is the relationships that you have. It's not the things that you own. And in this season of creation, let us think about God's will for the land, for the earth. Let us reflect on the places that are being destroyed by waste. Have a picture in your heart of a landfill site. In order to stop that, we need to be committed to composting, to recycling, to reducing our waste so that the earth can heal. We need to push for justice, for fair living conditions for all. Our Archbishop Thabo has become known as the Toilet Archbishop because he is always raising the issue of lack of sanitation and unfairness of living conditions. We are a water-scarce country. We need to give thanks for water, to protect it, educate others on how to save water. We need to stand against pollution and litter and get involved in campaigns to ban single-use plastic. And let us plant trees. We must not just plant trees, we must grow them, nurture them, and help them to heal the land. The late Wangari Maathai was the first woman Nobel Prize winner in Africa, who is here next to me. And she said, "I am concerned about the wounds and bleeding sores on the naked body of the earth. Have we not seen the long-term effects of those bleeding sores, the famine, the poverty? We are responsible directly or indirectly. We are strangling the earth. The earth is the Lord's and all that is in it. What befalls the earth befalls the sons and daughters of the earth." It is the season of creation. Let us stand up with our brothers and sisters around the world and heal the earth.